I've dealt with a few grisly cases in my time working as a cop, as with anyone in my line of work. I've gotten out of my car in the middle of heavy fire. I've carried bloody children out of violent scenes. I've seen dead bodies more times than I can count. But I've never had to deal with something as bizarre and unexplainable as what I experienced last night. I had been at work for hours already. I was about to end my shift. The day was slow. I finished paperwork, did some research on ongoing cases, and had a meeting with the chief. I was feeling ready to go home. It was barely past 3 a.m. when my team and I were told to respond to a 911 call from a woman who had an intruder in her house. Becca Ryan swung open the door to my office, nearly out of breath. She hastily explained the situation to me and my partner, Jay Wilson. We grabbed our gear and drove to the address we were given as fast as we could. Sirens blaring, tires squealing. An active intruder call can never be approached slowly. When we arrived at the location, 2813 Fairwood Drive, it was around 3:40 a.m. It took so long because the house was off the main streets through one of the forest roads on the outskirts of town. Normally, those houses will have lighted mailboxes or small driveways to indicate where to turn in. But when the GPS told us to stop, there was no indication of a home. Wilson and I figured the house must be older and not have the signs common to new houses around there. So we got out of the car and trekked through the woods, guns and flashlights at the ready. The trees loomed overhead and blocked what little moonlight we had. Our flashlights barely broke the darkness. As we searched, we could hear no signs of a struggle, no screaming for help, no breaking of doors or windows. There was only the soft chirping of crickets and crunching of leaves between our feet. We moved slowly, crouching behind bushes, peering into the dark for any sign of the caller. It was so quiet. I jumped when Wilson said we should call back to the station. We dialed the call center to confirm the address. Rechecked the map on my phone, even hauled the searchlight out of the squad car to illuminate the thick greenery. When we still could not find a house, Wilson called for backup to search the whole area. Our team trudged through the dark for so long that the sun started to peek in through the leaves. At that point, I began to panic. Some poor woman had called for help, and none had come for her. We did the best we could, sending yet another team to search, but the house, the woman, and the intruder were nowhere to be found. You might be thinking, well, the woman was probably panicked, just said the wrong address, but we have systems in place for that. We trace every call made to 911 center. The address the woman gave matched the location of the call. We checked our location on practically everyone's phone and car GPSs who came to search to make sure we were in the right place. But there was no house. None. It made absolutely no sense. Eventually, our chief called us back, deciding it must have been a prank call. He said we shouldn't waste our team on some prank teens. But if it was a prank, how could we trace the call back to a location without a house, let alone a phone? I know I'm mostly on the action side of my work, so I am not the most technologically savvy cop out there, but I'm pretty damn sure the phone you're connected to can just not exist. This morning, when we got back to the station, I asked to hear the recording of the call in hopes of gleaning information about what we'd experienced. This is what I heard.
911, what's your emergency?
Help me, please. I think someone's in my house.
And what's your address?
2813 Fairwood Drive.
Can you see the intruder?
No, I'm hiding in the upstairs bathroom. I can hear him coming.
Ma'am, please try to stay calm. What's your first and last name?
Lorelei Baker. I think he's upstairs.
Ma'am, please try to stay calm. Help is on the way.
So that's the original call. But honestly, the most chilling part was hearing it. The panic in the woman's voice, the footsteps in the background that thumped louder as the call went on. But the strangest part was some sort of feedback sound that nearly overwhelmed Lorelei's voice by the end of the call. I asked the 911 operator if that was a normal sound from old phones or faulty connections, but she said she'd never heard anything like it. At first I chalked it up to a problem on the other phone, but that would require there to be another phone. No house, no landline, no victim, no crime. That's how the rest of the squad are treating the call. I can't bring myself to drop it so easily. Hearing the call provided me with no further insight as to where the call came from or what happened to Lorelei. I'm shaken up by the event and I'm not ready to give up so quickly. I'll update if I learn more. I still have no explanation.